It's called the City of Brotherly Love. And in 2017, Philadelphia's football players expressed their love for each other often.
Love you guys.
Let's go.
Love you, Dave.
Love you too, man. Let's go.
I love you guys, first off.
Yeah.
Love just means you care for one another unconditionally. You have no hidden agenda. You really want what's best to the person next to you. And with that, you can do amazing things.
Love you, bro.
Love you too, bro.
Let's finish this thing.
I think that's just something that spoke a lot about our team all year long. You know, the love that we had for each other, the way we respected each other. You know, you have guys from all walks of life, all different kinds of religion, political views. Anytime you can get a group of guys that come together for one common goal and just genuinely appreciate each other, telling guys you love them was easy, you know, because we genuinely did.
The bond between the band of brothers is matched only by the adoration the city's fan base has for its football team.
When I first got there, I was met at the airport by a bunch of fans. And, you know, one of the first things they were saying was, man, you're going to bring us a Super Bowl here.
Every single year I played in Philly around training camp, hearing from the fans, this is the year. We feel this is the year.
Playing in the city, I think you do feel that extra burden, that extra responsibility, but I think you embrace it. You know how hungry they had been for a Super Bowl. Shoot, the first open practice we had at the link, there's like 20,000 fans, and it was just kind of mind-blowing to think that we're in a training camp practice.
Just keep your eyes down the field. Boom.
One thing that I guess really did stick out, someone dropped a pass in that practice and they were booing in training camp. They're the most passionate fans in the world.
You can tell that the passion is real because I had a guy cry in front of me, you know, just saying like, please, please, man, I need to get to the Super Bowl and we need to win it before I die. And, you know, he's just sitting there like, I'm getting teary-eyed right now.
It had been a long time since the Eagles won a championship, and some wondered if only an act of God could bring them a Super Bowl title. But Doug Peterson had a premonition prior to the start of the 2017 season.
When he said that, you know, I know he took a lot of flack for it and might have sounded crazy at the time, but he knew exactly what he was talking about.
When he said that, I believed that, and I believe that our whole room believed that.
Championship on three. 1, 2, 3. Championship.
Believe it, man, believe it.
The Eagles' championship chase began in Washington.
Go, baby. Hey, I can get you about 3 times today, baby.
Their first touchdown was a microcosm of a season-long journey full of twists, turns,
He dashes to his left. He dashes to his right.
and unbelievable quarterback play.
He is starting to run. Now he fires downfield. Caught. Aguilar. Touchdown Eagles. Carson Wentz pulling something out of the hat.
My biggest thing is always just harping on those guys to not quit. You know, the play's never dead, to always stay alive.
Now y'all know never quit. And you never quit. Stay alive.
The Eagles' first game ended much like their season would, with a Brandon Graham strip sack being a pivotal play.
The football comes loose. It's picked up by Cox. Touchdown Eagles.
If it seemed like Graham got to Kirk Cousins in a hurry, there was a reason for that.
You know, it's certain things we look for as a defensive lineman that gives us an edge. It's just something he does that can't tell you, but we figured it out.
When we say, all right, that's when it's going. Whenever he say, it's coming.
I just trusted it. It got me off the ball faster than that lineman.
Graham's game-clinching strip sack was a sign of things to come. More foreshadowing occurred in the Eagles' home opener after Carson Wentz missed an open Zach Ertz for a touchdown.
He had Zach Ertz wide open.
It was a new play up to that point. It was actually a play I'd run in college that I, you know, was trying to build some trust from the coaches to get that play in the playbook, and we had it, and I just missed it. And I knew it'd still be there, and so I just ran over there to Doug and said, let's run it again, run again.
Hey, again.
This wouldn't be the last time Doug Peterson listened to his quarterback suggest the play and decide for himself to run it.
That's who Doug is. You know, he just has the utmost trust in his players and confidence in his players.
Hey, we're running the same play. Come on, Hurts.
He's not an ego guy. You know, he's not my way or the highway type of guy.
What you said?
Guys have an idea, and he says, all right, let's do it.
He fires, and it is complete for a touchdown.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
He reloads, and he has Zach Ertz.
Same guy, same play. I love that.
Wentz's do-over was right on the money. So too was his final pass of the day, which set up a rather expensive moment.
Fires on the far side. It is caught, stepping out of bounds. With 1 second is Alshon Jeffrey. Now it's going to take a 61-yard field goal attempt.
This guy's a superhero if he makes this.
Knowing it's a 61-yard field goal, you don't see that every day.
I'll give him my game check. He makes it.
Obviously, I was mic'd up saying that I'll give him my game check if he makes this. And you know, I just, not that I didn't have faith in him, but I was just so in the moment, so excited.
It would be the perfect time to not say that when you're mic'd up.
Hold your breath.
Come on, Elliott. Come on, big four.
61 yards. Ball is spotted. The kick is away. And the kick is... It's
It was crazy. Carson, I think you still owe him your game check.
We worked out a good deal that we were able to just donate that money to where Jake wanted it to go, and it was a win-win for everybody.
Can't breathe. That is crazy, bro.
Definitely one of the highlights of the year.
In Week 4, the Eagles flew across the country to face the Chargers. They may have been 3,000 miles from the link, but in Los Angeles, they felt right at home.
We looked around and we just like, it felt like a home game. Like it really literally felt like a home game.
Philadelphia became LeGarrette Blount's new home in 2017. And against the Chargers, the former Patriot ran for 136 yards as the Eagles improved to 3-1.
Played out of his mind. That 68-yard run was one of the best runs I've ever seen.
Obviously, I don't have the Emmitt Smith type or Barry Sanders type stats, but I want to play this game long enough and do something significant enough in this league that I'm going to be remembered in this league. I want to be someone that people still talk about, you know, people still look at my highlights.
One of Blount's earliest highlights came as a Tampa Bay Buccaneer, and it came at the expense of future Eagles teammate Malcolm Jenkins.
You remember when he was over there in Tampa? You remember I tried him on the sideline that one time and dislocated my kneecap? Never again.
I didn't know that it was him until just now. My bad, Malcolm. He's still my dog, though.
He's not that fast, but the way he just stiff arms people and the way he just changes direction is like, you know, the way his angles is, the way he's downhill. That boy is a beast. He wants to punish people. And that's what football is all about, imposing your will on your opponent.
They don't want that, bro. Nobody want to tackle him, bro.
One of my favorite teammates to play with last year was LeGarrette, and just seeing his unselfishness throughout the year. You know, when in the middle of the year we go and get Jay Ajayi, and now all of a sudden LeGarrette's workload is maybe even cut in half. And then seeing, you know, Corey, you know, score a touchdown.
Hat trick, Corey! Hat trick, Corey!
And you got Jay and LeGarrette running down there and celebrating together.
It was really cool to watch that. He wasn't in this for himself. You know, he gave himself unto his team, and it wasn't about personal gain, and that's something that young players can really look at and admire.
Definitely a teammate I'll never forget.
Blount's physical ground and pound style was a perfect complement to the passing game of quarterback Carson Wentz, who threw 4 touchdown passes in a Week 5 win over the Cardinals.
Touchdown, Torrey Smith, the bomb.
Wentz, like his friend and Eagles fan Mike Trout, likes the home run ball.
Best part about the celebration is that there was no planning. You know, there was no planning. I remember when I threw that one to Torrey, Alshon's yelling, pitch it, and I knew he was saying pitch it, so I assumed the umpire role because Alshon's ready to catch, but most of the other guys thought he was saying picture. So if you look closely, guys are like posing for a picture first because no one knew what was going on.
In 2017, the second-year quarterback gave the Eagles plenty of reasons to celebrate.
They said, who you see him being like? I said, bro, he gonna be like a Roethlisberger, but even more agile though. Like,
he big plays with his legs, like wide.
All his best plays come when he extend the play.
I think the elusiveness, you're born with an innate sense of awareness and those types of things. You can practice it without a doubt, work on your escapability, work on your quickness, all of those things. But a lot of it is just feel and instincts. And I think I credit a lot back to being a multi-sport athlete. Didn't sit around and watch much TV as a kid. I was just always being outside, always being on the go, just exposed me to just a new sense of athleticism that I think has just really, been beneficial to me in my career and just allowed me that extra sense of competitiveness and the elusiveness along with it.
Man, he's an athletic kid. He's a really special kid.
That boy a winner, boy. That boy a winner.
He was a big part of why I wanted to go there. I wanted to play with Carson Wentz.
Having won 2 Super Bowls with Tom Brady, LeGarrette Blount knows a great quarterback when he sees one.
Can't put him in front of Tom right now, but he definitely has the potential to be in that elite class of quarterbacks that's played in this league.
And as a kid, Wentz himself recognized quarterbacking greatness.
Growing up, someone I always watched was Brett Favre. I just always loved the way he was kind of just fearless, kind of that gunslinger mentality.
This is unbelievable. That's what you just can't teach somebody. That kind of playmaking ability. It wins championships.
Ain't nobody else in the league throwing that ball, bro. That's he went.
He'd stand in the pocket and he needed to make the big play. I wasn't afraid to take shots, and just the way he had fun.
Plain and simple, let's just have fun. Have fun, play our game, make plays all day long.
Does a lot of things that you can't teach, Yeah.
Against Washington in Week 7, all of Wentz's skills were on display for a Monday night audience.
And it is caught and in for the touchdown. Wentz threw it 64 yards. Wentz, they've got him. He escapes. How'd he do it? I thought you said they got him. He disappeared. That man is amazing. Wentz, he ducks under the rush. He is floating it for Clement, who has a touchdown.
That's just magical.
You're like Houdini back there. I don't understand how you just laid it out.
This young man is clearly the MVP. There's nobody playing better. Let's give him credit. Face value right now, Carson Wentz could be the best quarterback in football.
When football teams are winning, the relationship between a coach and his team can be like a good marriage.
Got Ertz. He rolls. Looks. Fires. Complete. Touchdown. Ertz.
Hey, great job. 7-1 play. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. 7-1. You guys. It's all you. It's all you. It's all together. You got to overcome your coaching every now and then.
And if there's anyone who knows about matrimonial bliss,
Time to go to work. That's the good bling right there.
it's Brandon Graham. When a Philadelphia radio station sponsored an ultimate sports wedding contest, Graham agreed to officiate. But first, he had to become ordained.
I think it was universalchurch.org, and you go there, you get ordained, they send you something in the mail, you get your certificate.
Tar and Fred, please face one another and join hands, which you are right now.
When you see everybody sitting down and you like, oh, this is the real thing.
I am Fred Reichwein.
I am Fred Reichwein.
Oh, Fred Reichwein. I'm sorry. Yep.
They couldn't tell, man, I was sweating the whole day.
You may now kiss the bride. That was cool right there, man. Woo.
Philly's Minister of Defense 2.0 does everything with a smile.
That's just me. I just love the game. I love life.
When you're able to go out there and have fun with it, do what you love to do, and you're one of the best at it.
And he's thrown for a loss.
That is a huge play by BG.
You tend to probably smile all the time.
He just has an infectious personality, but as a leader, guys see his energy and his work ethic and everything he's about.
I'm gonna be the best me I can be. Whenever they call my name, I'm gonna make that play. So you do the same.
Graham had a career-high 9.5 sacks in 2017, and the minister from Michigan was more than happy to deliver the occasional sermon to his opponents.
Hey, 14, you should have went to Michigan, boy.
I always just kind of talk. you know, that's what it's all about, just having fun.
It's a party at the link.
A lot of dancing going on in Philadelphia right now, and why not?
Few teams in football history had as much fun as the 2017 Eagles.
I love these team celebrations.
He lined up the team like they were bowling pins.
From the end of September through November, the Eagles won 9 straight games.
Back again, he steps up. The ball is deflected.
And 6 times they scored more than 30 points.
This is a blowout.
We whooping that ass. Whooping that ass.
Once we got in that middle of the year stretch where we were just rolling teams, I think our confidence was just kind of at an all-time high.
Caught. Jeffrey, touchdown.
And I think at that point we were just kind of saying, all right, we're the real deal.
Hey, we're pretty good. I think we're pretty good.
It's going to come through the link. It was kind of our mindset at that point. Let's go win this East.
When the Eagles arrived in Los Angeles in Week 14, they were a win away from a division title.
Seize the moment. We came down for one reason, and that's to take a championship and get back home.
They took the field like they normally did, with Carson Wentz leading the way.
I love being in front, just kind of be the leader and the one in charge out there. Even when I was a kid at recess, I was always the kid who brought the ball, always the kid that was the captain picking the teams, you know, orchestrating everything. It's just kind of how I'm wired.
The Eagles' season took a dramatic turn on a play Wentz probably ran at recess hundreds of times.
My first read wasn't there, my second read wasn't there. I just kind of took off. You know, I saw a big opening. I said, oh, this is going to be easy. I'm going to get to the end zone.
Everyone thought it was a touchdown, but there was a penalty that brought it back. I remember watching him get up, and there was a little bit of a hobble.
I thought it was so fluky just the way they both hit me from different angles and just the torque it put on my leg and on my knee. I knew when I got up something wasn't right. I've still wondered why I didn't come out, honestly. At that point, it's just, we're down here at the goal line. I just said, I'm gonna finish this drive and then go see. I think they just rushed 3 on that 4th down. Any other time, I would have been scrambling around at that point. I had all the time in the world and nobody open, but I knew I couldn't move. I was just trying to find anybody to break free.
Still looking, he fires, and it is caught. Touchdown, Alshon Jeffrey.
After the drive was over, he went to the sideline and went in the tent. I went in the tent with him. Guys don't go in the tent with the guys that are hurt, but I was just like, you know what, forget it. I want to know what's going on.
Yeah, I remember LeGarrette coming in and just, I mean, he was just genuinely concerned. Like, you all right, boss?
At the time, you're hoping for the best. You're hoping, hey, maybe he just got like a dead leg. Maybe it's, you know, he'll be okay in a couple of plays. He'll be ready to roll because you want him to succeed. You want him to go out there and lead the team like he'd been doing all year.
Well, nobody wants to see this. Carson Wentz is going off to get looked at in the locker room.
That was a long walk. It was emotional. There was a lot of things going through my head from, is my season over, or am I going to come back out here in 5 minutes? Like, I didn't know exactly what to expect.
1 second left. Goff fires. He completes it. They go into the pitch, the razzle-dazzle. And now it's intercepted by the Eagles on the pitch, and in for the touchdown. It is Brandon Graham.
That was crazy. That was crazy.
Won the NFC East.
Met everybody at the door when they came into the locker room on crutches. Obviously, guys were kind of concerned, but I said, "Don't worry about me. We just won the East. Like, let's go party." But it was definitely bittersweet for me.
Hey, oh, I'm looking for you.
When we return.
And Sproles is shaken up. And there is concern as the medical staff comes out.
Jordan Hicks goes down.
Yeah, he's putting no weight on his left foot.
Jason Peters down on the field.
The Eagles lost many key players to injury in 2017. Now their MVP candidate was sidelined for the season. But backup Nick Foles was no stranger to success in Philadelphia, having thrown 27 touchdown passes and 2 interceptions in 2013.
Tying the Eagles' all-time record with his 7th touchdown pass of the game.
But he was traded to the Rams in 2015. A year later, he lost his job.
We're going to go ahead and release you today, okay?
And his desire to play football.
When you lose the joy and love of something that it takes everything you have day in and day out to do at the highest level, and if you don't do it, you're going to hurt the person next to you, It's hard to do. I was afraid. I was afraid to touch a football. I was afraid to do it.
Foles' wife, Tori, helped him rediscover his love of the game.
My wife is one of the greatest inspirations in my life. She got sick 5 years ago with postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, and it really, was life-altering for her, still is. She wrote me a note. She felt that I needed to face it head on and give it one more try, one more shot, and if I felt the same way after that, step away. But no matter what, if I stepped away at that time, she loved me and she'd always be there and she was always proud of me. And I remember taking a step of faith and going back and playing for Andy Reid. And my wife was a big reason there. She stood by me every single step of the way.
After a season in Kansas City, Foles returned to Philadelphia.
From the moment he got here, I thought we just hit it off.
Very nice out. Beautiful. Beautiful day today. You look good in green. You too.
He was confident from the moment he jumped in there. He was making plays.
Nick, how ready do you feel you are if you do have to lead this team for the rest of the season and into the playoffs?
I'm absolutely ready. That's why I'm here.
In his first start, Foles threw 4 touchdown passes against the Giants.
There you go, boy! There you go, boy!
There was still hope in Philly, but in Foles' final 2 games, he struggled.
There is concern about this team's offensive state of readiness going into the postseason.
I'm aware of it. I know how I played. I'm my toughest critic. If there was already a little bit of pressure, all the pressure came at this point.
He addressed the team and told the team, I'm going to play better. I'm going to be better than this in the playoffs.
Foles may have had confidence in himself, but the rest of the football world was skeptical.
For the first time ever, a number 6 seed is favored over the number 1 seed.
It was irking me. I was like, I can't wait to prove these people wrong.
Every time you look at the TV they don't have Carson. Without Carson, they can't compete.
Obviously, the underdog thing kind of was born then. Chris Long and Lane Johnson, I was actually there the moment they talked about it in the training room. They talked about we should get dog masks, and I thought they were out of their mind joking, but they really went and got dog masks. Kind of just fit the mold of Philly, that kind of underdog mentality.
Against the Falcons, the underdogs dropped the ball, literally.
I was just used to getting the ball from Carson. He hands it off firmly. Nick was more so handing it off. He'll just put it there and just let you take it.
It's just a soft handoff. It ain't no. It's like when you run it, come.
Did you tell him? Did you tell him? Did you tell him? Go tell him.
I'm thinking that you're gonna put it into my stomach, and you're thinking that I'm just gonna take it out your hand, so that ain't gonna work.
Don't be scared. Put that in there. Get that as hard as you can in my stomach if you want to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right here though, right?
Yeah, we good.
We didn't have any issues going on because we talked about it. We addressed it and we moved forward and we fixed it.
Gives it off. Blunt going outside. He's in. Touchdown.
That's how you like it.
Oh, yeah.
LeGarrette Blount scored Philadelphia's only touchdown, and in a defensive battle, the Eagles' season came down to 4th and goal.
This isn't the play of the game, folks. This is the play of the season.
It was nerve-wracking.
I'm just thinking Julio.
How you feel on this one? Did you height on it?
Everything on the line. What a dramatic game this has been.
When it happened, it was just kind of like slow motion.
Ryan is throwing it up in the air.
The ball goes up. I hold my breath.
When that ball went up, I thought there was a good chance he was coming down with it.
Incomplete! And the Eagles have defeated the Atlanta Falcons. They are 1 win away from the Super Bowl.
That's how you fight. Let's finish.
The first seed to be an underdog.
I didn't have a mask on, but I was barking.
Nah, my face was way too pretty for a dog mask.
I thought it was funny. I love watching Chris and Lane just be themselves and, their personalities. That just wasn't me. Plus, I was with a cane or crutches at the time. I just don't know if that was really the look I was going for with a dog mask and a cane.
The following week, it was a look many at the Link were going for.
Oh, yeah, LeGarrette. This downhill run.
Blunt up the middle to the 5. He's in! That, my friends, is power.
and the underdogs are once again barking.
You can't be denied, big dog. Let's go get this ring.
Hell yeah.
Bowles looks very, very confident. In Nick, we trust.
Nick comfortable right now, boy. He just had to get his reps.
Bowles steps up. He is looking. He is going deep and alone. And in for the touchdown is Jeffrey.
One of my favorite things about Coach Peterson as a play caller is just his aggressiveness. As a quarterback and as a player that plays for him, that gives us confidence. It just showed throughout the playoffs in those big moments. He didn't back down. He stayed aggressive.
They come right back. It's a flea flicker. And it is caught! Touchdown! Torrey Smith!
What a great job on the flea flicker. Great time to call it.
The whole mentality of our team at that point was just, we're not going to back down. Though we've had injuries, though we've gone through adversity, we're still going to keep throwing punches and being aggressive. And I think that sent a message to our entire team and to the entire nation.
That's how you whoop some ass. Yes, sir. Super Bowl.
I'm like, I never played in the last game of the season, not on no level.
Hey, oh, I'm looking for you. I know.
After the game, getting to hug Torrey on the field, I mean, even sitting here right now, just thinking about it, I get emotional. We had all this pressure going into the playoffs. We were dealing with it together. We were both battling our own battle, me on the football field, her internally with her body. In that moment, we could just embrace and just enjoy it.
When we return.
4th and 1, Super Bowl, New England Patriots. I think the obvious play is the Philly special. It just makes sense, doesn't it?
Super Bowl 52 was played on February 4th.
That's a big, important date in my family because my baby girl turned 2. Her birthday is February 4th, and my wife's birthday is February 5th. And so I told them, hey, y'all gift this year as a Super Bowl champion. And I told the wife that we're going to have a parade for her birthday.
LeGarrette Blount knew all about the Eagles' opponent. He won 2 rings as a Patriot. And he couldn't have been happier to be facing his former team on football's biggest stage.
It was perfect. It was perfect. The way things ended there was not to my liking. I had told them how bad I wanted to be there and how much I wanted to stay there and I didn't want to leave. And, they couldn't get a deal done for me. I just feel like they didn't respect me, at all.
I'd been throwing, sitting on my butt for a while, but I knew I wanted to go out on the field in the Super Bowl, even if I wasn't playing. And with Chris Maragos and Sproles and Jordan Hicks and Jason Peters and some of the guys that we unfortunately weren't able to play, but we knew we wanted to get out there and just kind of be a part of it. I think all 5 of us standing out there were just kind of like, we just made eye contact over and over. Just man, like we're not playing in this one.
I'm sorry.
Hey, what do you do?
It's like, my dad did this whole same thing in '90. I don't know if you've heard that story at all. My dad, they were the same week 13. They were 11-2. He broke his foot. He didn't get to play in the Super Bowl. So it's tough, man. I know, but I'm rooting for you. All right. I mean, I really do. I feel for you. It's rough. You're going to be in a lot more of these.
That's the plan. Those are tough moments. Those are definitely tough moments. Those games you dream of as a kid, to not be out there, it was tough.
Congratulations, sir. You're made for this. Enjoy it. Enjoy this day.
Kick their ass. We're taking it. We're taking it. Let's do it.
Revenge is a dish best served cold. The game time temperature outside of Minnesota was in the single digits. Inside, LeGarrette Blount was turning up the heat on his old team.
Bowles is going deep. And it is caught by Alshon Jeffrey for a touchdown.
I ain't playing no games, man. They're gonna have to deal with it all games.
Hey, you keep running all over the place, all right? You keep running all over them, baby.
I was so ready. I was so hyped up about it.
Blount across the 20, the 50, the 10, the 5.
feeling was unmatched. This Super Bowl was definitely the most memorable and the most meaningful to me.
In Philly, they trust the process.
Hold on.
4th and 1
Hold on.
from the 1.
We're going for it right here. We're going for it right here.
Doug Peterson trusts his players.
You want Philly?
Yeah, let's do it.
He trusts us, and at that moment, he trusted me to ask for a play, and he has to approve it. He could easily say, hey, we'll save it. But at that time, you know, that's a play where he's like, man, if he's feeling it, let's go.
Philly special. Ready?
Philly special. When we called it, I was like, this is a touchdown. This is it.
Goes directly to Clement. Clement reverses it. And it is a touchdown by Nick Foles. That was unbelievable.
Everything today.
Let's go, B-Dub.
Catch him and throw him.
Let's go.
Holy smokes! What did we just see?
This play call has a chance to be remembered as one of the all-time greats.
They brought it out in the Super Bowl. They brought it out in the Super Bowl.
Good call, dog.
It looked better in the game than it had ever looked in practice.
I went like that, and then I think I spun. I don't know what I did. I was just like, I need to sell it like he thinks I'm doing nothing.
We always told Nick, like, bro, you got to do a better acting job than that. You can't just go there and just stand like a mannequin.
You know, I actually broke my toe in drama class jumping onto a stage in 6th grade, so that just that was the end of my acting career. So when LG says, you know, it wasn't good at all, he's telling the truth.
We always just laughed at Nick. I mean, anytime a moment like that where you had to act, especially in practice, like no one's watching, there's no crowd, there's no noise.
Hey, Foles, why were you so open? Why were you so open? I sold it. I did some acting.
Lane was the cadence for that one.
Lane!
Every time he yelled it in practice, it just seemed weird that he was yelling Lane's name.
The problem was it was loud.
No, that's why it was perfect.
I know. Lane!
Now Doug's making the game fun.
That whole play just summed up who we were. You know, coach's creativity, you know, guys stepping up that, you know, weren't in those roles normally, guys that were undrafted, guys that had chips on their shoulders, guys that, you know, weren't always in the stat book, and everyone just contributing and being a part of something bigger. I thought just really summed up the whole season.
It summarized us because it was a bold play. We were bold with the play call. It wasn't a chance because we believed in one another.
Halftime is where we are. The Eagles 22, the Patriots 12.
I appreciate this three-piece, boy. This three-piece in the biscuit. With some honey on the side.
He wants honey, too. He said he wants honey.
Yeah, I was talking about a three-sack game with a strip, and you know, I was gonna say fumble to the house. That's what the honey on the side was.
I know it's a big night when he asked for honey. He said he wants honey.
Brandon Graham may have been hungry to get to Tom Brady, but the Patriots quarterback ate the Eagles alive.
The Eagles have had virtually no pressure on Brady this entire game.
Throwing for a Super Bowl record 505 yards. For Philadelphia, Doug Peterson's best defense was an aggressive offense.
He is going deep, and is it a touchdown? It is touchdown!
Not how we drew it up, but it worked.
Great throw.
When we drew it up, we wanted like one-on-one coverage. It turned out that there was 3 guys in the general area.
That's nasty. That's nasty, bro. Over 3 of them.
I remember, you know, as I'm going through my progression, I get to Corey and I see it, and my brain triggers like, whoa, like he's covered. But then I saw like a little let up by one of the defenders, and my body just pulled the trigger. I just let it rip because I was playing with feel. I wasn't trying to like read it perfectly like it was on a piece of paper like you're taught.
I was like, I can fit it around him.
One of the best passes I've ever thrown.
It's ours. Yeah, I know it's ours. It's ours. I know it is.
I knew that the only way that we would lose this game is that we take our foot off the gas, we start being conservative.
Nope. Hammer down.
if you take your foot off the gas, these guys will come back and will break your heart.
It's going to be 4th down and 1.5 yards.
4th and 1 on our own side of the 50, Super Bowl. We don't get it. Chances are we probably don't win the game. I don't know if I felt the magnitude of the moment. I was just playing ball. I don't think I took a step towards the sideline because I knew he was going to go for it.
Let's go for it right here. Go for it right here.
I can't believe this one. Peterson knows no fear.
I think that's the confidence we had in the huddle. There wasn't any fear in the guys' eyes. We were all playing with boldness.
Doug Peterson with a gamble here.
Foles back. Foles fires. Foles completes it.
Move the change.
Whoa.
What's your thought process right now?
All right, we're going to run it. We're scoring a touchdown. We're going to score a touchdown.
Back goes Foles. Fires. Slant. Touchdown. Zach Ertz. Oh, this game takes your breath away, doesn't it? Hell of a drive. Hell of a drive.
Everything you got. Everything you got.
Let's go. One drive. Finish this thing, baby. We're world champ. We're world champ.
BG.
Go. Hey.
Let's go. Let's go.
One play, just one play. And that's all we was talking about. I remember Nick coming up to us say, strip him, strip him.
Hey, D. Hey, strip him. Let's go. Strip him.
The Eagles are 2 minutes and 21 seconds away from winning a Super Bowl. But there's a man by the name of Tom Brady who will have something to say about that.
During that time, I was a nervous wreck, for real.
Brady back again. He steps up his head. And he fumbles the football, and the Eagles have it.
We got the ball.
They finally hit Tom Brady.
Come on, get in. Get in. Get in. Let's go. Let's go.
All I remember is Shaq Mason was pulling my arm, but my outside arm was free, and I just reached.
Brandon Graham.
When you needed him, he came through.
When I knocked that ball out and I put it on the ground, and I seen Derek Barnett pick it up, it was like heaven on earth. Man, it gives me goosebumps every time. It's like, man, I made that play.
This just never happens to them. Anytime that ball is in his hand and he gets the chance to do it, 99% of the time he's gonna do it. I was just thanking God. It was just this one time where it didn't go their way. It went, our way. And for me, my way. It was crazy. I'm gonna be honest, out of all the Super Bowls that I've won, I had never felt that feeling before.
You deserve it. Appreciate it, bro. You deserve it, baby.
What was different about this one? Why so special?
What
brought that emotion out of you?
Because it was against New England. Just to get to that moment and win that game and against that team, and to be able to play as much of a role as I played in it, it was just one of the most special moments that I have ever had in my career. And then after the game, Bill came up to me and told me, good job, LG, you deserve it.
Bill did?
Yeah.
Did that surprise you?
No. Bill is an amazing guy. He's always been a good guy to me. I love him, for everything that he's done for me and the opportunities that he's given me. I love him to death for it.
Man, we finally did it. We finally accomplished the ultimate goal. In that moment, I thought about Philly.
Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you.
It's my baby girl birthday.
Today's her birthday?
And the wife's birthday tomorrow. So
Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
that's one less gift I gotta give them.
Happy birthday.
Hey, you say how to know? This is Lily.
And my dream was always to have a child while I played the game of football so they could experience it.
Checking it all out.
She had
No idea.
A couple years ago when I was gonna step away, Tori and I, we didn't have Lily wasn't born. And that was one of the toughest things when I was gonna step away from the game, is realizing that my child would never get to be a part of that. So in that moment, having her there, she might not remember this, but we have footage, we have pictures. It put everything in perspective. The entire journey, Tori being sick, me almost stepping away from the game, being traded, everything just sort of flashed in front of my eyes. But then I got to look in my daughter's eyes And it was just so simple. I wanted my daughter, you know, when she looks back and, you know, she gets older and gets to know more about her daddy and everything, that she would be proud of everything that I do.
You deserve this thing, baby. Enjoy it.
Hey,
Enjoy it.
it's you, man. Oh, I love you. I love you, dog. I love you too, bro.
He was always supportive throughout everything. He knew the game plan inside out. He did everything he could to, you know, help the team win in his new role.
I wouldn't be here without you, brother. Love you, bro. Teamwork, baby. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I think in that moment, yeah, I mean, I hurt for him because I knew how much he wanted to be out there and play. But, you know, knowing Carson, I knew that this is only going to make him a better player.
You feel every bit a part of it, and in those moments, you know, the Super Bowl celebration and everything,
unbelievable.
You just try and celebrate, try and be in that moment with your team. But when you leave there and you know you weren't the one actually on the field, actually playing, there is a little bit of extra motivation to get back there.
More than any other Super Bowl win that I've ever had, they were way more appreciative because it was the first one.
We stayed together, and that's that brotherly love we talk about in Philadelphia.
It was this one guy, he seen me, he hugged me, but he was just crying like, I'm just so happy right now, man. You just don't know what you did for this city.
It was more than just a game. It was something that people had waited for their entire life.
Y'all truly are the best football fans in the world, and you make it a joy and a pleasure to play for you.
Seeing, like, genuinely how it looked like that we changed their life. We gave them almost hope and, like, just restored something in them. It was just kind of unbelievable to see the passion and the joy that came out of people. Pretty cool to win it for a city like this. Had to practice getting down on the knee, you know, obviously being in a brace, it was restricting a little bit, but I got it done.
Hey, my officiating days are over. That's off my bucket list now.
Yeah.
The oppression